Welcome to Microsoft Excel with EJD. In the last video, I put us through how to record macros, simple macros, right? To automate tasks that are repetitive. So I'm making the second video just to tidy up issues around macros. And then from the next video, we'll talk about the next two videos will be about VBAs, which are actually the brain behind macros. So running and managing macros, of course, in Microsoft Excel actually involve executing automated tasks called macros that you have recorded or written, as well as organizing, editing, and securing them for efficient and safe use. Macros are essentially small programs written in VBA, that's Visual Basic for applications, that automate repetitive tasks like formatting data, generating reports, or performing calculations. So remember, this is pretty much what we did in the last video, where you have this kind of raw data. Imagine that you're managing a non-profit organization and you are required to collect this data from Monday to Saturday of attendance and donation on each of the days, and you're expected to give a weekly report like this, okay? And then we went ahead to actually do to record the macro in this slide, because if you check now, if you go to developer, you see that we have a macro called weekly report, okay? And if you want to see the VBA behind that, right, you click on edit, like I showed you in the previous video. So you can click on edit, then this shows you the macro. You can even expand it. This is more like the code behind all of that macro right there. So back here now, so running macros, right? We already knew how to run macros. So that was how we came to week one, for instance, and being here, we just go to the macro and run. It's already done for week one. Week two done, week three done. So I just made sure I still have something I can still do. So imagine you have another set of data which is totally different from week one and week two, right? So we have for week four, totally different data. So two ways to run. You can actually come to macros here. Okay. You can come to macros and then so you click on, if you have more than one macro, so you can see all the possibilities. Just click on the particular macro you want, and you can have as many as possible for sure. So just click on run, and then it does the job for you. Another way to get that done is to come to week five, for instance, and instead of coming to macro and clicking on run, you could just use the shortcut. The shortcut we assigned to this was Control A. So I just press Control A, and then it gets the job done. I mean, just in one click, or with one shortcut like that. So those are the ways to run macros, right? Um, of course, you can assign macros to buttons. I think I tried to get that done previously. I couldn't quite get that. So assign macros to button. You can insert a form control button or shape. So you right click on it and assign a macro. So clicking the button then triggers the macro. So I mean, you can run the macro straight by clicking here and running. You can also use the shortcuts. Then the other way is to actually assign a button to that. I think I wasn't able to. Let me see if I can try this one more time. Like you can assign this to a button. Okay. Okay. I wasn't able to get that done. So we can actually click on a button to actually trigger the macro. Let me see. Insert now. I thought I could find the button somewhere around here. For some reason, I'm not seeing that, but it's okay. Let's move on. So now you can then use the VBA editor, right? So you can open the VBA editor by pressing alternate F11. All right, alternate F11. The keyboard I use for some reason doesn't have that alternate, but of course it's the same way. You can actually click on this particular macro and edit. So when you click on edit like that, it takes you to the VBA in case you need to do something. So if you look through, you discover that it says range A8 select. So you see it's referring to this cell we had right here, range A8 select, right? So coming to this is the macro sheet now. So range A8. So that is so you have range A8, right? So that's what the macro I mean, the VBA is showing us. So range A is select. From there, you have active cell formula R1, C1, that you have the total, and this whole thing describes what you have done. Then instead of having to write this, the macro recorder has done this for you graciously. Then you can locate the macro in a module and run it by pressing F5. So, I mean, here you can actually run this macro. So you can see it run up here now, so we can do that. So, with that said, how do we manage macros? We are talking about running and managing macros. So managing macros involves organizing and controlling how macros are stored, edited, shared, and executed. So we've seen a bit of all of this. Like we've seen how to create the macros in the first place, how to run them. We have also seen how to edit, using VBA. So but everything is fine. That's why I didn't have to bother about editing the VBA, right? So we see that this includes viewing existing macros. So to view existing macros, that's what I just explained. To view existing macros, just come to developer and just click on macros, and then you can see I have only one. If I have more than one, it will all be listed there. Okay, so you choose the macro you want and you click edit to view its VBA code if that's what you want. You can edit macros, right? So using the VBA editor to modify the macros code. This allows for advanced logic loops, conditions, and interaction with other Office apps. So I know a lot of people are not comfortable with VBA, so that's why it may be difficult to go that way. Of course, you can delete macros, right? You can so to delete, you just click on whatever. If you have many macros, just click on the one you want and delete, and that's the end. So it will go. If I click on delete, and this automatically goes. But that's not my plan, right? So you can also organize macros. You can store macros in a personal macro workbook, so which is personal.xlsb, to make them available across all workbooks. Okay. You can also group macros logically by placing related code in the same module. These are some kind of advanced stuff for managing macros. So you can also save workbooks as macro enabled workbooks. I mean, this is exactly the format in which I saved all this. Now, if you look at the folder where I have this macro stuff, right? You discover that talking about Microsoft Excel. So you see that here now, I have the regular, okay, recording simple macros. We have that. So we have this regular thing, right? Which is a normal workbook. But then you see you have this other one now that has that is macro enabled worksheet. This is just normal regular Microsoft Excel worksheet, but this one it has a bit of ribbon down here, so it's macro enabled worksheet. Even for 27, I have running and managing macro. So it's always advisable that your original data should be saved separately, so that by the time, because macros can actually scatter things, right? So you want to have your data saved safely somewhere before you try running trying macros on them. Okay, so you can delete if you want. So you don't save macro any worksheet that contains macros the same way you save every other one, right? So you have to actually follow you have to save them as macro enabled workbook. So because if saved as SLXS, macros will be removed. So if you save them in the normal form, macros will disappear. So you won't be able to, so you have to do it over again. So watch that. Then of course you also want to assign descriptions, right? When writing or editing macros, including comments, this macro does XYZ for clarity and future reference. So you see in the other case, right? Okay, I think we can see that in the VBA now. If I come to the VBA, yeah. So at the top, you can see what. So we say this is weekly report. My macro, I titled the weekly report, and then I also gave a description. So to show us what it does. So this macro automates the weekly report of an MPO, giving the total and average attendance and donation, and then we also have a shortcut assigned to it, which is Control A, right? So you want to assign description for easy referencing. Then security management, right? Macros can pose security risks. So Excel disables them by default in an untrusted document. So once a document is untrusted, Excel by default will actually disable them. And that is why when we talked about macros the other time, when it comes to this macro security, you see disable VBA macros with notification, right? So once the document is untrusted, macros will be disabled to avoid malicious, macros, right? So so we see that right here. So you can manage macro settings under file, file, and you have okay. file, you have options, right? File, you have then options. That's for security management now. And then when you come here now, under file and options, you have the trust center. So from the trust center, you can then go to the trust center settings. And from there, you can actually, okay, then you have the macro settings here, right? So you can then digitally sign your macros or use trusted locations to enable safe execution. So this one takes us to exactly the same place you come. If you click on macro security, you see the same thing here. So like that. So exporting and importing macros. Modules containing macros can be exported and shared as a .bas files, and they can be imported into other workbooks via the VBA editor. So you can also use my macro recorder. You should learn to use macro recorder wisely, right? Because if it's very tricky. The macro recorder captures exact steps or may generate inefficient code, right? So that's why when you're recording a macro, you don't unnecessarily click on any button you don't need. So because that can actually mess things up. So it's good for beginners. Macro recorders are good for beginners, but manual refinement of code in the VB editor is often necessary for optimization. So it's always necessary if you want to get the best of your code. In my case, I did something very simple. So it cannot be necessary for me to edit anything here because I already have it efficient. But maybe in the next two videos, we can talk a bit about VBA and all that. Of course, you also want to learn about troubleshooting and debugging. So you need to use breakpoints, msgbox, debug.print, and the immediate window in the VBA editor to debug macros, right? Then you can handle errors gracefully with constructs like on error resume next or on error go to, things like that. And in summary, running and managing macros is essential, right? For leveraging the full automation potential of Excel. By learning how to execute, organize, and edit macros properly and applying security best practices, you can streamline workflows, eliminate repetitive tasks, and ensure safe usage across workbooks and users. So, I mean, if you need to use macros, all this guide can actually make you more efficient. And of course, this is just to tidy up the whole